Hello, Trailblazers, and welcome to a training inside of the Entrepreneur Journey Group. Today, I have Payton. Payton, say your last name because I will never
Payton
pronounce it.
Kaleiwahea.
Yeah, that
It's
last name.
Hawaiian.
He is Hawaiian, and he is a good friend of mine. And he is going to talk about he's growing a YouTube channel, and he is amazing on video. And he's going to talk to us about how to set up an in-home studio so that your videos are all amazing. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Payton now.
All right. Thanks, Doug. Yeah. So for me, I've started YouTube on this journey. I haven't done it for a year yet, but a lot of my fundamentals have been in videography industry. So I have taken a lot of courses and also have done a lot of research on what the type of best equipment is, the types of audio, the importance of lighting, the importance of backdrops. And so I'm just kind of going to go over the thought process and try to shrink down everything that I learned in the past year or two, and then give it to you guys so you guys can great content for YouTube, Facebook Lives, or anything like that. And then for anybody that has follow-on questions or want to go into a little bit more advanced, if you're a little bit more tech savvy and want to kind of go into kind of overlays and OBS Studio type of thing, we could talk about that. And Doug, just let me know if you want me to talk about that later on. So first and foremost, I am a strong proponent of investing in your business. And the great thing about this studio setup is that it's a complete write-off right off the bat on terms of your taxes. So everything that you buy, you can put underneath your specifics, business, freelance or any type of company, really anything. And it can be depreciated throughout as long, I think sometimes it's 3 to 4 years. So if you do want to invest in yourself and have a bigger camera or go for a more expensive light source, you can write that off over a course of a few years, and it'll kind of, as soon as you start getting a studio presence and a YouTube presence and a Facebook presence, it'll pay for itself anyways too. So number one, I'll try to go over the camera setups and everything like that. And so the two camera setups that I recommend are one Sony's and two Canons. So there are the two big heavy hitters when it comes to mirrorless. And I actually don't recommend the Sony type of high-end cameras like the ones that I use for videography if you're just going to be doing a studio setup, doing tutorials, and doing things like that. What I do recommend is the Canon M50. The Canon M50, you can see a lot of tutorials on the Canon M50. It's like a vlogger type of camera, but you can also plug that directly into your laptop. And that laptop you can use it as a webcam. And so the Canon M50 is a great type of asset that's really cheap. And so when it comes to camera, the next question you'll probably get is the type of lens that you want to use. And with the Canon M50 setup, I would recommend a Canon M50 with a 22 millimeter. And so people that are not in videography terms or anything like that, if you just go into the 22, it would be 22 with this kind of circle with a line through, and it'll show you that's what the focal length is. And so the aperture is something that's also important. And the aperture for the 22 millimeter for the Canon M50 is is a 2, which really means that it blurs up the background. So if you see my kind of video right now, everything is blurred back. And so I would say it's not even 6 feet. Sorry, it's not even 6 feet behind me, but it's because the lens is such a shallow depth of field that it makes that blurry. So keeps you at the focus, says what you're talking about, and it just makes it look a lot more professional. And that would be the camera setup that I would recommend. And I think the Canon M50, if you wait for Black Friday, could probably be only $400, $500, because there's a second edition. And then also the lens could probably be on sale too for $200, $300. And so that right there below $1,000 will make you look very, very good in terms of your setup. But I do recommend video is only half the battle. So getting a good mic source is also very important. So just to be clear, in what you're delivering and what you're doing. So first is the camera and that lens, and you can plug in your HDMI or USB into your laptop, and then you can use Canon's organic software. It's there's Canon has software on board the Canon.com website that you can download, and then you can start ripping and streaming from there. So that's an extremely useful tool. That's not how it used to be in the past. You could like have to put in like cam links and screen capture cards or use OBS Studio to even get a virtual cam. But now it's just you plug and play into Canon software and you're good to go. So it makes it a lot easier. And they've pivoted that like since COVID with that work from home studio. So the microphone that I would recommend is not this one. I only use this one because it is a videography tool as well. I would recommend the Blue Yeti standing mic. So the list so far is the Canon M50 22 millimeter lens, and then the Blue Yeti standing mic. And so those three would be really awesome, and it will make you look good and also sound good. It's going to just look really good. The other type of thing I want to show you guys, or kind of do it. Sorry that I'm just kind of going off and ripping, Doug. If you need me to slow down or explain things.
No. One thing I was going to say is we could, under the video, we'll put a link to where they can purchase these. Purchase these different items.
That's great. Yeah, everything's on Amazon. And a quick tip too for everybody that like goes on Amazon. There's a new section. If you buy it, it's most likely going to be new. But if you go in the bottom right, there is going to be other listings, and they're from other companies like used or anything like that. It's kind of like eBay, but like some of them are like verified resellers that like Amazon will let you return, and it's like a lot cheaper to do so. Okay, and then the other like thing that I want to express is like the light sources. So this is going to be a lot for people, I know, but I will show you this one, because if I show you this one, I have to move my camera. So give me a second, Doug.
Okay. Wow.
So these are all like light sources that you can actually light yourself. And so that one is a hair light, and so it makes me outline and gets me away from the back of the background, and that makes it so like it just is a lot more highlights and everything like that. There is a frontal like light source right here, and Doug, I'll give you the links for the softbox and also the light source.
Okay.
And those will just make you look just very good. So let me try to turn off the light, and so you can kind of see what it looks like without the light source. Yeah. So it's very dark.
Yeah.
And then let me try to increase the ISO so you at least can see the thing.
Wow.
So this is me bumping up the ISO. Sorry, let me try to. So this is without a light source, even still a lot better than I would say like not having a light source at all. But you're going to really see a difference when you have that softbox. So there are like, and I'll send you a link to like a binge learn thing that I curated collectively that like teaches about like videography fundamentals that like kind of goes over aperture, ISO, and frame rate.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It just like gives all that stuff. So let me just turn back my ISO so I don't blind you guys. Okay.
Yeah. One thing I noticed is it gives you so much more depth with the lighting and the lens.
Mm-hmm. And like really, that's just 6 feet behind me, and it makes it seem like it's a lot farther. And like that is like a huge like key for like a lot of videographers is they create depth, and so like that is a huge another huge like thing. So if you can push your camera as far as you can against one wall, and then you be as close to the camera as you can, the blurrier the background is going to be for your specific video. And that like is what makes it look professional. And when it comes to studios, like your backdrop also is a personality. It's like the secondary character in it. Mm-hmm. They're going to kind of go through all of that. And so like that's for me is like the Navy, like Woody is for creativity, it's mostly for Pixar. And then like that's like one of my best friends, like photos that I'll never sell. It's like, yeah, nice. He doesn't do photography anymore, but just is really awesome. And when it comes to like creating videos or making it look professional, it's also like editing too. But like the more that you can do in camera, like this, kind of like what me and Doug are doing, or where I'm kind of shifting my camera, like it's really just putting out content and like to cast a wide net for like your specific audience to watch you and to follow you and to do that. And so like I think for me, when it comes to videography and like creating a studio, it's really important, and it's a really great asset to have, because even like me setting up for like job interviews or to interview with people on Zoom, like this setup like already gives you this type of like, wow, this person is extremely professional. So like, especially like I know like a lot of people in your group that are like consultants. So just like imagine like you like consulting like this, you know. And I think that's just one of those things that's like really great, gives you credibility instantly, and you're like, man, like, okay, this person cares about me, because they're willing to like look good and prepare and to like do stuff. And it just kind of gives you this type of like, people have given me credit for things that I don't even know like what I'm talking about, just because I look good on camera. And I know that's like terrible, but like it's just like what it is. And so I think like consultants, like if you're going to be like doing a type of like a doctor or type of like psychiatrist, like I think like everybody's business should like really move to like virtual, like online, and the way that you present yourself on camera is really good. Doug, those are kind of all the hardware systems. Is there any other questions or things, or maybe I went too fast on something? Sorry,
I think the only thing that you really didn't talk about were like you have headphones on right now, so listening to other like the type of headphones or things like that.
Yeah. So to be honest, like I like wired. So like this one's a Sony Professional studio monitor. I just found them on Amazon. I'm not like a big like audio buff when it comes to that stuff. So I think like anybody that like, honestly, AirPods work, like anything like that's really good. I'm not like a big stifler on like headphones. I am like a big stifler on microphones, because that's how other people hear you. And then like camera setup. So like in priority, like I would probably get like a camera setup, audio, and then let the video light setup. The video lighting is not as important, and you can kind of makeshift lighting around your house. There's like a lot of tutorials that you can actually watch that are just going to be purely like setting up cheap lighting materials. So it's going to be pretty good.
Speaking of sound, I'm sorry about my little dog barking in the background.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
So a couple of things I want to bring up about just the background and and things in general. How important do you think color variance is in your background? Because I notice you have like some blue, you have green, you know, some stuff that really draws the eye.
Yeah. So yeah, I think so. Peter McKinnon is a very famous videographer. It goes over like backgrounds and like kind of what it is. And I got a lot of my inspiration from like videographers or like your favorite YouTube studios. And so like I would just kind of like, it is your personality too. So like I'd say like in terms of variance for like lighting or anything like that, like this like orange light right here, that's just like the actual lighting that I have in my office. And it's just kind of off screen because I don't want you guys to get blinded by it. And then the other type of colors, I think my room is just naturally a little bit more blue, or like this temperature for this light is like at 5600. To be honest, and this is, all the videographers are going to yell at me right now, I'm on auto white balance, and so like it's probably just not balanced completely correctly, so it looks a little bit more blue than it is orange.
No, there's some on your shelf. I saw something that looks blue. Maybe the
yeah. Sorry. Didn't understand the question. That's on me. That's a certificate that I got from the Navy.
Nice.
And then just like I like the colors. And so I think it's just better. Some people actually put like lights, accents. I just don't like it. I don't know. you always have to charge them and all that kind of stuff. And so I just like the plug and play, like very repeatable studio. And for people that have a smaller space that like, that want to do the sliding setup but need to tear down quickly and everything like that, like I would recommend like a softbox that collapses, because like these softboxes are huge, which also I will also give a recommendation to Doug, so you guys can check that out. But because like we're about to sell our house and move into a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, so I'm not gonna have like a room that's dedicated for a studio. So like I'm gonna have to clean up and like tear down and set up every single time that I do this, or just like I'm in a transitional period in my life, so I'm like just not going to care so much about how like I set up my studio until like I get to the destination.
Okay. Are you staying in the same area? This is off topic.
I'm going to Oklahoma City, so I'm taking my talents to OKC.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. And so yeah, San Diego has been good to me, but I'm in the Navy, so we're trying to keep my wife at home. That's most important to us.
Yeah.
And obviously I can't do that in San Diego. I could, but I just don't want to work that hard.
I will say the cost for living is going to come down dramatically from being in California. Everything's just more expensive out there.
Absolutely. But they do account for that for the paycheck. But
they do.
we fortunately have been blessed to buy a home like 3 years ago. So the San Diego real estate market is just completely crazy right now. So we're just gonna take that depreciation and move it into a house, and we might even use the VA loan and then rent that out. So there's a lot of possibilities for us to invest and everything like that. But
nice.
Yeah. So I mostly, go ahead.
So going back to, we got off on a little tangent there, but going back to the video. So when you're talking about just looking professional, I would equate it to having better branding, right? So, because if you have good branding, it also helps you look more professional. So I would put it under that same kind of umbrella of professionalism.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the brand is like where you start with and everything like that. And so, it's professionalism, the way you look, you're going to look sharp. And it's just like how people like dress too, right? Reason why you go to Target versus like Walmart, but like I still love Walmart, but there's just like you don't see the people of Walmart in Target. It's just the branding, the people that like set up. So it's like you can even charge more because when you do get into that counseling session, you're just like, oh, okay, this guy's like the real deal, or this girl's here for the real deal, And so I think that's a huge take on it. But also like for the people that can't like afford all these equipment too, like there are setups in which that you can do with like your phone that are just as good. And you can like, if you just like have an iPhone, you can use like these apps that just can be used as a webcam, and it's way better than like the Mac, because a lot of people use, that's all I really want to say is like a lot of people use the MacBook Pro or like the MacBook webcam or like the inbuilt PC webcam, and they're just like complete garbage. And like you don't see anything, like it's just people are fuzzy, and like you don't have to go with like a Sony a7S III or like a Canon M50 right off the bat. Like just test it out with like your camera on your phone. Like there's an app, let me try to figure it out. There's an app called Epicam Pro, and I almost converted it there, but the Epicam Pro,
can't really.
Dang it. Yeah, I can't. You can't really see it, but I'll type it in so you can have it. But the Epicam Pro was like $799, and it converts your. Let's see if we can try it out actually.
Okay.
It converts your iPhone webcam into a video. So I'm going to convert it right now.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Sideways. There you go.
So sorry. Here we go. And so like this Epicam Pro, why is it so zoomed in? I could just convert it. There we go. Oops. I don't know.
Yeah, you're horizontal now. You're right.
All right. Yeah, I'm like looking at this, but it's usually I set it up beforehand. But just so you could see like the softbox,
Oh, there we go.
or let me just give you guys a tour around the studio here. Sorry for the mess. So this is the softbox, and this is the softbox, but it's gigantic. So like that's why I like recommend like a portable setup. And so like also it's not just what's in the frame, it's like what's outside the frame, right? So like just make sure that you get make sure you clean up like the frame and make sure that everything is good to go. You just need to clean up what's not in the frame. That's what I recommend.
Nice.
And so switching back to my Sony stuff. But yeah, the Epicam Pro, it actually is pretty dang good. And then also like you can do like you can go into like if you want to go more streaming and like more live type of assets, then you can use OBS Studio and restream and all that kind of stuff to go to multiple platforms. And the OBS Studio is it's a free software in which that like you can connect and like transition and do overlays and like do this live type of studio. And it's just really good. So if you're interested in that, just reach out to me on Facebook. Doug knows it. Just say that Doug sent you, and I can go over more of that. But yeah, so Epicam Pro, it's another type of thing if you want to dabble and just kind of up your productivity level or up your production just by like buying like a $8 app. I think that would be good.
Awesome. So you covered a lot. Now I want like talk about where people could find you and what you talk about on YouTube and kind of go in that direction.
Yeah. So I am a person that is a jack of all trades, master of none, to be honest. So like I just enjoy like doing a lot of things. So I'm a part-time videographer. You can like find me like probably Facebook is where I post like my videography stuff. So like, each social media platform for me is like very has like a different type of thing that I'm doing. So like Facebook, I'm like doing mostly videography. Number 2 is like YouTube, which I'm like going into investing, and I'm actually probably pivoting my channel into like more crypto gaming investing. And just like kind of understanding the blockchain, NFTs and all that kind of stuff. Like that's like what I like, that's what I enjoy. But bringing like the stock market analysis and stuff that you get from like stock market and SEC.gov and moving it into cryptos and more specifically crypto gaming. I'm trying to go more niche to catch a larger audience. And then the other thing that I'm doing is Binge Learn, which is like a company that me and my brother started, which is like curating online education for free around the internet. So like if you go to like binge-learn.com, like you can find a course on videography basics that's teaching you everything that I did, but way better with a lot more solid people, which I also post to Doug. And like every like famous videographer, like I curated all of the good stuff, like what they teach, and I put it into like, I don't know, a 6-person class. And it's just pretty much just YouTube videos that go over videography in the basic terms that are easy for everybody to understand. And so like, that's what Binge Learn is about. It's like curating the internet's resources and just putting them all central location for education. And I think that's it.
Awesome. So there'll be a lot of links under this video.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know. We'll condense maybe some of the things to buy into one kind of area, or maybe maybe I'll downloadable PDF or something where they can click on the links. But I'll think about that.
For sure.
But thank you for being here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
And
appreciate it.
This is going to be really valuable for anybody looking to take like, how do I enhance my presence on video? I think this is going to be super, super valuable.
Yeah, I hope so. Feel free to reach out to me for any questions.
All right, thanks.